Hello, and welcome to this Bitwise and AWS webinar on ETL migration to AWS Glue Simplified. My name is Nathan Nichols, Head of Partnerships here at Bitwise. As an AWS ETL modernization partner, Bitwise has been working hand in hand with the AWS Glue team to hone the knowledge and experience needed to modernize ETL, whether building new pipelines in AWS or efficiently migrating legacy jobs to Glue Studio with speed and accuracy. We've got a packed agenda for you today, kicking off with a customer case study and overview of AWS Glue, followed by an introduction to Bitwise and our ETL migration solution, including a demo on converting Informatica Power Center job to AWS Glue Studio. We will also have time for your questions at the end of the session, so please send your questions using the question feature in the app, or you can contact us at any time at sales@bitwiseglobal.com. Joining me today are Shalini Nigam and Michael Ivanov. Shalini, a cloud solution architect at Bitwise, is responsible for the overall development and design of robust, scalable, cloud-based platforms and helps organizations to implement and oversee cloud computing strategy in their cloud migration journeys. Michael is a senior analytics specialist at AWS with 18 years of industry experience. He is passionate about helping organizations leverage analytics, machine learning, and marketing technology to drive high-impact business outcomes. And with those introductions, let me pass it over to Michael to take us into AWS Glue. Michael?
Thank you, Nathan. And we want to open the webinar with Ibotta case study and a journey of migrating ETL to Glue. Ibotta is a free cashback rewards and payment app that gives consumers real cash for everyday purchases when they shop and pay through the app. They process terabytes of data every day, and the volumes were continuously growing. They were actually doubling in size each year. And this growth also combined with complex nested JSON data structures and a requirement to deliver these high quality data sets in their analytics data warehouse at low latency to support use cases such as fraud detection. This all led to Ibotta rethink and rebuild their internal solution stack. They also had a compact data engineering team, which they essentially didn't want to scale. So the strategic vision was to support self-service processes where possible. To solve the issues, Ibotta decided to migrate the entire ETL pipeline into AWS Cloud with Glue as the core component of this new self-service data lake. With Glue, they handle transformation of nested JSON events against real-time event streams. They're flattening the files, making it fully consumable by downstream applications. Solution automatically scales to handle spiky workloads, and to date, Glue has allowed Ibotta to realize a 5-fold decrease in OpEx costs. Also, Glue requires little to no manual intervention to ingest and process over 200 complex JSON objects, freeing up engineering resources and reducing thousands of development hours. Let's now talk about Glue and how the service supports building a modern data architectures and building them faster. To start, Glue is an ecosystem of services designed to simplify data discovery, preparation, integration for analytics, machine learning, and application development. Glue is different to other ETL products in several ways. First, it's completely serverless. So there's no infrastructure to provision, to set up and manage. Second, Glue runs highly scalable Spark execution engine under the hood and automatically provisions resources you need. And you only pay for resources you consume while the jobs are running. And then third, Glue provides crawlers for automatic schema inference for both structured and semi-structured data sets. These crawlers discover file types, schemas, partitions, extract the information to store in centralized catalog for discoverability and governance. With Glue connectors, you can link to on-prem data sources, to cloud-based databases, streaming sources such as Kafka or managed Kafka or Kinesis to start ingesting the data. On the transform layer, Glue supports different user experiences. For data engineers, with Glue Studio, you can author, manage, monitor thousands of ETL jobs in a single pane of glass. It is a visual canvas when you select from a variety of connectors and transforms that are already populated for you. And then for advanced data engineers who prefer to author ETL jobs in a notebook setup, in a notebook environment, there's a Glue Studio notebooks. With notebooks, you can interactively develop ETL jobs. And once developed, you can simply convert notebook into ETL jobs. So essentially, you'll have seamless development and execution experiences. And then Data Brew, a tool for data scientists and data analysts. It is really a zero code data discovery, engineering, and preparation interface. It has more than 300 building transform functions, allowing you to visually prepare data sets for analytics and machine learning. And once you build your transformation logic, you can package it as a recipe to run against any data in future without having to build from scratch. So fundamentally, Glue supports building modern data architecture. You see on the right-hand side, this architecture has a secured and governed data lake at its core and a purpose-built connected compute engines for different analytics such as BI, big data, AI and machine learning, real-time analytics, and operational analytics. So why modernizing your ETL on Glue? Really, there are three options to modernize. And the first one, for customers running legacy ETL tools, we often hear from them that the tools are expensive because of the licensing and vendor lock-in, and also because of the lack of flexibility when it comes to scaling up or down. And in such cases, migrating to Glue could really enable no vendor lock-in because of open source components with Python, PySpark, and Scala. And also, it could be on average 7x less expensive compared to legacy tools. Second option is to build ETL from scratch, but in this case, we hear from our customers that managing own Spark environments can be resource consuming, can be complex from the infrastructure standpoint. With this, running Spark and Glue is on average 5x cheaper compared to self-managed and requires 4x less resources to manage, just like in case of Ibotta and them reducing thousands of development hours. And finally, you could run cloud-native ETL tools, even on AWS, but in this case, there could be code lock-in and also the licensing component. So there's a high advantage of running ETL on AWS Cloud with Glue because of the serverless deployment model, which is essentially one of the drivers of Glue being 55% cheaper than other cloud ETL solutions. With this, let me now hand over to Shalini, my colleague from Bitwise, to give you an overview of ETL migration methodology and toolset.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Shalini Nigam. So let me introduce you Bitwise Data Warehouse and BI modernization capabilities, which comprises data migration, ETL migration, and BI modernization. In addition to that, as part of our cloud migration journey, we have built several utilities which provide fast, affordable, and risk-free migration for your end-to-end warehouse solution. However, in this webinar, we'll discuss ETL migration in detail. So first of all, I would like to talk about challenges when somebody plans to migrate in a traditional way. Few are known challenges which we already know in advance, and we might have already figured out some strategy to deal with during the planning phase itself, like identifying the current ecosystem, building migration approach, rewriting code, testing, and validation. So here each phase is time consuming and resource intensive. Also, you need the expertise for both source and target ETL systems. Ultimately, it's going to incur cost and reduce ROI. However, few unknown challenges like runtime challenges, which we would get to know when we actually start doing the conversion. For example, incompatibility issues due to two different ecosystems. Let's say your on-premise ETL is connecting to different database sources. So database driver adjustment is required. Even after driver adjustment in target system, there could be possibilities that driver may make slight data conversion issues, like time zone format of our timestamps, the way null values are handled, and maybe the precision of floating point numbers. These changes will appear as a data discrepancies and it requires rigorous testing. In addition to that, identifying the workaround for the features, transformation, or the expression where one-to-one mapping is not available. Ultimately, all these things will increase project timeline. So we have already experienced all these challenges, what we discussed in earlier slide in past, and to deal with our Center of Excellence built ETL migration practice, where we have extensive 10 plus years of experience by working 15 plus different ETL tools combinations. And that's how we build complete ETL migration suites with a strong foundation, knowledge base, and pool of expertise. ETL conversion tool is essential part of this practice, which is helping us to accelerate conversion process. However, there are other phases like assessment, testing, and validation that also play a crucial role in entire ETL migration cycle. And we built our expertise and several automation utilities in these areas too. Automation, accuracy, and easiness. These are the three key areas where we have focused mainly while building this practice. Now let's talk about bitwise convergence solution methodology. The entire convergence solution approach is typically divided into 4 different pillars. We start with the assessment, and here we already built one utility which can automatically scan all of your source ETLs and give us a report that tells us what's the feasibility of conversion and how much automation can be achieved. It's totally depend upon your source system complexities, and based on that, we can estimate what level of the effort and timeline is required for this conversion. We also provide our recommendation at this phase if applicable. Post-assessment, we can create inventory, sprint plan, and prepare convergence solution approach based on subject proprietary. Once assessment is over, we can get into the conversion automation, which is done by subject area or other priority decided during assessment phase. Here we perform conversion using our automation tool, and if any redesigning, optimization, or enhancement needed, that would be taken care by our team. As most of the time we have seen, it's not always apple to apple conversion. Essentially, it's going to be holistic upgrade of entire infrastructure. Once conversion is done, we do have automation available at testing phase 2. As we have been doing these migrations since very long time, so several automation utilities have been developed which expedite testing and reduce effort tremendously by 50%. And at last, we can implement this solution either in Big Bang or phased manner based upon the engagement model what we decide. Also, we ensure that in this entire conversion process, our customer data is safe and secured, and it's not exposed outside for any kind of cyber attack. So now let's talk about the architecture of this tool. Architecture of this tool is broadly divided into three different modules: adoption, core, and generation. Adoption plugin, which has script analyzer and file parser, which essentially parse the entire source ETL transformation into canonical XML and then push to ETL conversion core, which is the heart of the system, and it is a superset of all ETL component, function, feature of all ETL product out into the market. So essentially it has a generic set of libraries and translate table which find the best possible fit or mapping for source ETL into target ETL and perform the entire conversion. And then generation plugin, which is the final step in the conversion process. It generates target ETL scripts that can be imported in Glue to recreate target ETL and conversion report. Conversion report is essentially a snapshot of entire conversion process, which shows the detail of all the objects converted successfully, and also if there are any warnings or any specific custom code which needs manual adjustment are also highlighted into the conversion. Also, you could see in generation plugin, we do have a rule processor which build intelligence for a scenario where one-to-one mapping is not available between source and target. Okay, so let's move to the demo. For this demo, I would be taking Informatica as an example and will convert to the AWS Glue Studio. However, this tool can convert any source ETL to the AWS Glue. This is the Informatica mapping, which I would be taking for this demo. It is a medium complex Informatica mapping, which has several sources, target, filter, joiner transformations, etc. Let's go to the tool, navigate to the source ETL where your Informatica mapping is located. Provide the target location where you want output files to be generated. Select the mapping which you wanted to convert it. And it's converted successfully. And you can see output file has been generated. So this is a conversion report. Let's take a look. We can see here almost all the mappings converted successfully except one, which we need to do the manual adjustment. So now let's move to the Glue Studio. And we can see latest file has been generated here. Open it. This is the Informatica mapping, which we converted into the Glue Studio using ETL conversion tool. Now let's do the comparison between few components. This is one of the source. which has 10 fields and different data types. In Glue Studio, same number of fields with similar data type has been converted. Then do the comparison for filter component. Here we have this filter transformation where we applied this condition. Let's take a look in Glue Studio. Same condition has been applied over here. Now take a look for joiner transformation. Here we applied the detailed outer join on these columns. So detailed outer join converted as a left join in AWS Glue, and condition applied, join condition applied on same columns. Then go to the expression. Here we have several derived columns. Let's take example for total claim. So this formula we are using to derive the column or the value for total claim. In Glue Studio, equivalent PySpark code has been generated for the same. Let's take a look. Go to the total column field. An equivalent expression and the formula has been applied here. Now let's take a look for target. In this target, we have 3 different columns and different data type. And here you can see 3 columns with similar data type has been migrated successfully. So all right, all the source, target, transformation looks good. And one thing which is highlighted into the conversion report, which cannot convert here, we can easily track into our code, and we can do the necessary mechanism to fix this. This is how this tool works. Now I am passing over to Nathan. Nathan, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Shalini. To wrap up before our Q&A, let me recap on why Bitwise is the right partner for ETL migration and what are the next steps for getting started on your journey. As Shalini described, our ETL migration practice combines the right mix of automation, best practices, and experience to help mitigate risks and meet time to market objectives for successful migration of your on-premise jobs to AWS Glue Studio. With our automation tools and utilities, we typically see 40 to 50% reduction in migration time and 50 to 60% reduction in migration costs. And with our dedicated team of ETL migration specialists and Glue experts, we can help avoid common pitfalls that can derail your migration efforts to ensure success in the new cloud world. We know from experience that planning an ETL migration project with hundreds or thousands of jobs can be a daunting task. So we have 2 assessment options to help you easily get started in the right direction. First, our high-level assessment is a no-cost option that typically takes less than a week and results in a high-level time and cost estimation that is ideal for your initial explorations or presenting to your leadership. Second is our detailed assessment engagement, In this paid engagement, our team reviews all jobs and delivers detailed job-by-job reports with precise migration timeline and execution plan. The detailed assessment engagement is ideal for building a business case or seeking funding and approval for your migration initiative. If you're interested in exploring our assessment options, or even just having a call with our team to discuss on AWS Glue and migration, send us an email at sales@bitwiseglobal.com. Now, let's get to your questions. If you haven't done so already, please use the question feature to send your questions, and we'll get through as many as we can in the next few minutes. If we don't answer your question, we will follow up directly after the session. Okay, we have a few questions here to get us started. First question is related to Glue. So Michael, this is a good question for you. And the question is, do I have to learn Spark, Scala, Python to use Glue?
It's a great question, and one of the most popular questions we get from our customers. So the short answer is you don't. Both Glue Studio and Glue Data Brew, they're drag and drop tools with no requirements to know coding, unless, of course, you want to build a custom transformation with SQL, or you want to import your code, your custom code.
Okay, thanks, Michael. The next question is more related to the migration part. So Shalini, the question is, how do you address security during an ETL migration?
ETL converter is a standalone application that does not connect to any database or code repository of our customer. Actual conversions happen on the client environment, and this tool is installed within client closed ecosystem. Also, we are ISO certified, and we do have certain security protocols which we follow. Apart from this, there are process level agreement like NDA for confidentiality of the information related to client or prospect outside of work. We can also work towards any client-side additional security if required.
Okay, thanks, Shalini. We've got time for one more question, and this one follows from the last question, Shalini. The question is, for the migration, how do you manage risk?
Major risks that can be anticipated for migration include human error, business disruption, performance challenge, and incompatible ecosystems. To mitigate risk, we use automation across the entire migration lifecycle, starting from assessment, code conversion, testing, and validation. To deal with performance challenges, we apply essential optimization mechanisms, best coding standards, and our proven approach surrounding that. For incompatibility issues, our automated conversion tool has inbuilt extensive set of libraries for mappings and workarounds. Along with that, we have our strong knowledge base and best practices for architecting an optimal solution in AWS.
Okay, thanks, Shalini, and thanks, Michael. We'll have to leave it there for today. This concludes our session. We covered high-level information during the webinar, and for further detail, please reach out to us at sales@bitwiseglobal.com to connect with our team. On behalf of Michael and Shalini, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule. We look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.